Yo, what is happening, folks? Welcome to Gameplay, the eSports show that keeps you in the know of all things high school and university eSports in South Africa. Yeah, but yes, you know what it is. It's your hostess that does the mostest, Collins Manyame, aka Scarra in the eSports streets. And today, stock standard, you already know what it is. We're going to be covering some results that happened within the ASL space. Further from that, we take a look at an event that took place at Cura Hermanas. Also chatting to the people that were there at the event. We have yet another banger classroom session. And to end it off, I have my special guest interview. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. So jumping right into it, let's talk about some results that took place in the ASL space. So this week, we're going to be covering some EAFC as well as Clash Royale. So these are the titles that have concluded for Term 1. And as I'm going to be reading out, these are the teams and players that qualified for Term 2's Premier League that will be coming up. Let's get into it. In EAFC 25, we had a total of 80 players broken into 16 groups, and only the top player from each group goes through. Here are the players that make it into the Premier bracket for Term 2. Footballers: Josi, Jordan Lebo, Filippo, Olifant, Big Boy Richie, Redar April, Dare McLife, Zukanya, Rapid J, Freckcart, Tylo, Liema, Nate, Nihal, and Glean. See you all, homies, in Term 2 for Premier action of EAFC 25. In Clash Royale, we had 8 groups of 3. The top 2 players will be taken from each group for Prem, and here are the players that make the cut. From Group 1, we have Super C and Falk. Group 2, we have 12 Lightyear and Flops. Group 3, we have Slapgaus and Ghost. Group 4, Shopping Cart and Ninjago. Group 5, Marinus and Velocity. Group 6, Sponsy and Ice Walker. And finally, for Group 7, The One and Big Chunga. Then Group 8 to finish off our top 16, Tabang and Krillin. That is going to be it, and congrats to all the schools and teams that qualified for their Premier Division in their respective titles. And if you want to witness all the action, make sure you head on over to twitch.tv/African eSports. So further from that, the Cura Hermanas team had an event that took place in the recent week. They had an EAFC 25 tournament, the first one that they have held. They had 9 different schools participate in that event. We also had some really cool scenes and shots taken at the LAN. Let's take a look at what unfolded.
Hi, I'm Kurt Wilkinson. I'm a teacher at Cura Hermanas. I'm also the esports coach. And today we are here at home in Cura Hermanas. Thank you to the AGL for making it happen. We always travel to Cape Town for these events, but today we have the opportunity to have the AGL host here in our hometown at Cura Hermanas. So the closest event was last year. It was also around about April. It was in Bellville. In fact, that's how we met up when we had the FIFA tournament in Bellville. And it's been a year later now. Been practicing some FIFA, and that's how we are here today. So the schools here today, we have Cura Durbanville, Cura Hermanas as well. We've got Kahia Secondary School, one of our local schools here in Zwelihle. And then we also have Bellville High School, one of the schools that hosted us last year, and today we're also just returning the favor. Unfortunately, we've got 2 schools that pulled out, but they normally do join us. It was valid reasons. So it was Meridian Pioneers and Cura Somerset West. I think the highlight of the day is definitely that gaming is a winner today. We've got the opportunity for our boys to play FIFA. Once again, thank you to the African Gaming League for ensuring that we've got all these devices so that the learners can play. And that was the main idea today, is to get our learners to play. FIFA's the winner. Definitely more support for the event. We would like more participation for next time. I think it's a great thing that we have the support that we got today, but if we could make it bigger, we would have more learners that are exposed to the sport, because I don't think a lot of learners know that esports is as active as it is in Cape Town. So the main idea would be to get esports active here in the Overberg. Yeah, we had a big upset today. Our champion was actually knocked out, Maximus Collins. He just left. But yeah, that was one of the big upset. But it's also a good thing because it means that we've got a few more players in the team that can step up to the task. I think, well, for today, the biggest rival was definitely Belleville High School and Kiro Durbanville as well. They always are arch rivals, even with the athletics. We had a very, very good match between Kiro Durbanville and Kiro Hermanus today. It was in the quarter-final round. One of their players, JP, can't remember his surname now, but he did very well. It was, one of those 5-minute passages of play where JP could have taken it, but fortunately we did. So that's normally our main rivals. And then, moving forward, I think as eSports is the winner of the day, the main rival is normally yourself, because we spoke earlier about a lot of learners getting the jitters while they're playing. So if they can just get over the nerves, the biggest rival is defeated on the day.
Now jumping right into our classroom session. This week it comes from my guest who will be coming onto the show later on. And he talks about how you can grow as a presenter, grow your confidence and hone your craft. So pick up those notebooks and let's jump right in.
Hey guys, how you doing? Kamumbata here, presenter, producer, voiceover artist, and pretty much anything I put my mind to. And that's the case, right? If you were trying to be a good presenter, now that that class is in session, it's about putting your mind to it and making sure that you're learning what it is about you that makes you interesting. So if people told you that you're witty or funny, cool, lean into that. Sometimes people tell you that you may be too serious. Find a way to maybe polish that and turn that into something that's a bit of a quirk. Whatever it is about you, make that strong, fortify yourself as an individual and find your inner voice, because once you trust yourself, then you know that whatever comes out of you is going to be trustworthy, right? So trust yourself by learning every day. Make sure you are focusing on the things that are going to help you be better at learning about the content you're interested in, and of course then disseminating it to everyone else. That's it. Focus on yourself, focus on what you're passionate about, put them together, moving forward. Class is out of session. Peace.
You know what time it is. It is gaming opportunities in your area. And as mentioned, the Kuro Gauteng LAN is coming up at Kuro Waterfall. It is going to be happening tomorrow and going over to Saturday. So if you have not signed up already, guys, don't irritate me. Don't make me angry. Don't miss out on this opportunity, because this is the first Gauteng LAN that is going to be happening for Kuro and many more to come. So be a part of the first one, get yourself signed up and ready and participating in the Kuro Gauteng LAN. Further from that, we also still have signups that are open for Term 2 action of ASL. So if you want to get yourself signed up and ready, make sure you head on over to schools.acdl.gg and get your team or school signed up and ready for Term 2 action. If you're in Pietermaritzburg, this one is for you. The Midlands Gaming Festival hits Midlands Mall from this 28th to the 30th of March, with 100,000 Rand worth of prizes to be won, including a PlayStation 5 Slimline, a VR Oculus MetaQuest, racing chair, and so much more. You do not want to miss out on any of the action that is going to be taking place. If you want more information, head on over to the ACGL website at acgl.gg/MidlandsFest. Oh yeah, boy, yes, it is that time. It's time for Game Chat with my special guest. This is a man that needs no introduction, a man with presenting skills to pay the bills. He's a veteran in the eSports space that has brought a voice to many events locally. So stick around, because our chats coming up next. What is happening, folks? Welcome back to the show. Now it is time for my special guest interview. I am with the man that needs no introduction, as many titles as the Seven Wonders of the world. Kamumbata, how are you doing today, good sir?
I'm very, very well, Collins, aka Skara.
Tango.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you very much for having me. It's good to be here.
It's an absolute honor and pleasure to have you on the show, man.
Thank you,
and you know, jumping right into things.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, you have so many titles. I mean, you have a presenter, voice artist, producer, but one that sticks out to me is gamer.
Right.
So what exactly piqued your love for gaming? When did you start gaming, and what thrust you into the world of esports?
Yeah, I've been a gamer since I was a baby, you know, be it that old TV game with the thing that you push,
Oh,
the
the cartridge.
cartridges, you know, then I graduated to Sega Mega Drive. At one point, I had myself a Nintendo 64, then, you know, got into PlayStation, and then from PlayStation, that's pretty much where I spent the bulk of my time. I was a console baby for a long time, so PS2, 3, 4, all the way from PS1. And then when it came time for this new guy, that's when I kind of pivoted a little bit, you know. So I loved gaming, but I realized that I wanted something that was a bit more plug and play. And also at that time, you know, just something where Game Pass could shine, right? So Game Pass being the Netflix of gaming service it is, I got myself a subscription, got myself a little Series S, carried on, loved next gen, but then realized that eventually I need to become like a big boy and got myself a PC rig. So I got the 7800 XT in there. I've got, you know, a decent rig. I'm enjoying my gaming and also realizing that there's a lot of great games outside of sports games, because I grew up playing sports games. And
I mean, yeah, a lot of us, you know, stock standard FIFA was the first one we jumped
100%.
into.
But I think like what's happened is, you know, our love for the sport continues to grow, but I think the people who who pull the strings are more interested in money. So what's happened is the soccer games have just become little gambling simulators in my mind.
No, I feel that.
And so I found there's better games that are made by people who are passionate about the games that they make and actually respect the customer and the consumer, you as the gamer. So I like games where if you throw money at it for cosmetics, cool. But the moment you start throwing money at something for it to be an added advantage,
yeah, like
that's
that
where
pay
you
to
lose
win
me.
advantage.
That's where you lose.
I mean, a lot of us have been like, oh, when it comes to FIFA Ultimate Team, pay to win, your oaks,
I mean, I just like the idea of, you know, you pick up a team and whatever team it is, the stock standard team, we go at it. It's a skill game. It's not about the size of your wallet or mine, you know, which is what it's become, and it's sad. But, you know, at the same time, lots of great games from indie publishers, even some of the bigger studios. You just need to kind of see, you know, follow the history, make sure that the developers are saying the right buzzwords. Then you know, okay, cool, this game is not going to become a microtransaction hell when it comes out, and it'll actually be about giving me as the gamer something that is valuable for my time having purchased it.
Amazing. So, actually speaking on skill from the game that you're talking about, I mean, you are a phenomenal talent when it comes to presenting, and there's people who would definitely love to have your skill.
Yeah.
How long has it taken for you to hone your presenting skills, and how exactly do you find yourself presenting in esports?
Well, I feel like, you know, I got the best training being on kids television back in the time where there was no auto cue. You know, you kind of had a script put in front of you and you had to find a way to internalize it and then bring it out. And so, you know, doing that every other day of the week for 8-9 years of my childhood, you know, is the best training you can get. I don't think there's anything better because we were thrown into the deep end. It's live television. You have to adapt. You have to be able to, you know, if you make a mistake, pick yourself up. And as a kid, that's quite daunting. But, you know, you do your first one and then, yeah, you start ironing out the kinks. You find your voice. You find your personality. Then it's about the people who enable you doing that to help you get better. Because it's just one thing to like send someone and say, go do something.
Yeah.
But you need that objectivity to look in and say, hey, maybe you can tighten this. Maybe, you know, less of a crutch here, maybe try this. You know, you do need support. It's not a one-person thing, but if you're not gonna get that support, the next best thing is to record yourself, watch yourself, be honest with yourself, figure out what's wrong, what are you relying on too much, what do you need to bring in, and also watch other people who you think are good at it and see what they do. And learn from them. I watch a lot of comedy, stand-up comedy, so you know a lot of the guys I watch are very witty people. So it's not about stealing their jokes, it's about stealing their approach. How do you internalize what's the information that you get given and how do you spit it out? That's the trick.
That's amazing. So two things there actually. The first one is, how do you think it's important and was valuable for you to actually start at an early age, you know, learning all these skills for your presenting as you went on.
Yeah.
And then further from that as well, as you mentioned, it's not about trying to steal what they're doing, but more so trying to adapt with what works for them.
Yeah. So starting early, definitely 10,000 hours. So anyone who knows that if you want to be good at something, the earlier you start, the better. Be it presenting, be it an instrument, be it gaming, the sooner you can get in there, the better. And then over the years, it's just, you know, kind of staying on top of stuff and doing good work. I think a lot of people forget that, you know, your name in this space is your best business card.
Yeah.
So if you're reliable, if you're, you know, innovating, if you're coming to people and say, I've got whether they use the ideas or not, I've got ideas, show passion, you know, for a product and the space, especially with esports, then I think, you know, that integrity will come across naturally. I think people need to see your natural energy. We're having a discussion with one of your colleagues here when I arrived, saying that some people, when they back announce songs on radio, they don't feel impassioned by the song that they've just played. And that's the thing with gaming, is that, you know, you can tell a caster is very impassionate by the play that they've just seen,
true.
right?
Yeah.
So it's all about putting people into places where they're going to be able to be strong, don't need to adapt too much, lean into their skill set and lean into the passion for the product.
That's amazing. I love that. So moving on from that,
Yeah.
one thing I'm very curious about. So there's a lot of students and teachers that are watching, right?
Yeah.
And with how esports has grown thus far in high schools and universities, comes newer avenues
Yeah.
for these students to be going into.
Right.
One of that has been presenting and casting.
Sure.
What is a bit of presenter 101 that you would say to some of the students that are trying to get into the space?
Yeah, I mean, practice, find your voice, you know, and also what's important about finding your voice is that I think a lot of people, you know, watch stuff and be like, I gotta beat up. No, your voice is your voice, right? So you don't have to act. I think what we have is actors and we have presenters. A presenter is someone who takes the knowledge that they have of the subject matter and makes it more relatable and palatable. An actor, you know, plays a role. So, you know, sometimes I've been in scenarios where you've got actors playing the role of a presenter, and, you know, there's something missed there because you have to be very quick. You know, method acting is you know, methodology is not improv.
Yeah.
Presenting is improv.
Yeah.
You know, so presenting is thinking on your feet, something coming into your ear, you know, from a director, or something changing on the ground that you need to adapt to immediately. So if you're quick on your feet, if you know how to troubleshoot, and you know how to speak from a place of knowing with confidence, then I think you've done most of the groundwork. Now it's about reinforcing it. It's like going to gym, you gotta work the muscle.
Yeah.
And so find platforms, find spaces, and as unnatural as it may feel to maybe do it on your own, that avoids you being thrown into an opportunity and then not being able to leverage it. Because sometimes that happens. So something comes along, you haven't been preparing, it's the opportunity you want, you get given it, and you can't leverage it because you didn't do the work. So do the work. I mean, you know, obviously we all want to speak and present to everybody. If you can find an audience, great. But if you haven't yet, just find yourself first, and then all else will come.
Fantastic. And I think one thing I can take from that is being true to yourself,
Yeah.
right? It's not trying to play something that you're not, but just
Yeah.
doing you and giving yourself as you come through your presenting work.
100%. Everything I've always done has always been from a place of wanting to do that thing, you know? And the moment that it stops being something I'm passionate about, I walk away from it. So I think, you know, at the end of the day is that you can do that as a young person and hope that in time you find what you're looking for and then be able to develop that. Obviously the idea is not to go through life searching for an answer for a long time, but I think if you do the work early, even if it's just to find out whether it's for you or not,
Yeah.
I think that saves you a lot of time further down the line, right? So it's just about giving something, saying, oh cool, I tried it, didn't work, or I tried it and I know how I'm gonna come back at it. At least you've made more progress than not trying.
That's true. It's better to try than not try at all.
100%.
So just to end things off, I mean, we have a lot of people that are watching you right now, a lot
Yeah.
of students that are watching.
Yeah.
What's a piece of advice that you'd love to give to students who maybe want to follow in your journey,
Yeah.
maybe as a presenter or even as a voice artist when it comes to esports?
Well, if you're trying to be a presenter, I think it's just very simple. Know your subject matter. I think, you know, if you're wanting to be someone who is maybe, you know, commentating on football or wants to, you know, present football, then think about doing a little short course with Safa, you know? Go and like learn all the terminology, learn the technicality of it so that when you come across on screen, you're credible. I think what happens a lot of the time is that people give presenting opportunities to someone who may well get there, but you haven't given them the opportunity to get up to speed on what's happening. And so what happens the moment is that they transmit that information, there's a credibility that's lost. And then that person is going to have to fight very hard to claw it back. So I think before you go into something, immerse yourself in the culture, know what's happening. It's part of the reason I got a PC, is because I'm doing all these shows with a lot of talk about PC gaming. I was like, well, if I want to be able to speak to it with any level of credibility, I need to have some skin in the game myself. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, and I think also to add to that, especially when it comes to casting, you'll always be told, don't cast a game you don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
So I think, as you said, it's just immersing yourself in what you want to do.
And if you don't know it, then at least be showing the passion that you're trying to, right?
Yeah.
It's not, there's no point of just kind of skimming on something that you could be very, very well versed in another game and you're losing out. So it's opportunity cost. So the person who's passionate about this game is not there because you're there, and then when you're passionate about has someone in there or is missing you, you know? So it's just, be authentic, stay true to self. Hopefully the right people will be looking. What I love about our space is that a lot of people at the big brands are always looking for ways to move us forward as a community. So I think as long as you have that same mindset as an individual and also link up with the likes of Skyra and all the other young people who are doing what you're doing, find a home, find an organization, find a bunch of mates. Collaboration is key. You know, you don't want to be an island. There's a big community as far as esports is going. So insert yourself whilst working on yourself.
Ooh, beautiful way to end it. But Kamo, it's been an absolute pleasure and honor. Thank you so much for joining. But before I let you go, please to the camera, let us know where we can find you on socials and how we can interact with you.
Okay, so socials, you're going to find me over on Blue Sky. I've left Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, it's toxic. And I am on a bit of a break, honestly, because I'm trying to figure out some stuff. I want to get onto Patreon and be able to help those who want to get better at presenting with maybe some insights and classes on there. So yeah, just search me on Blue Sky. I'll be sure that by the time this airs, I'm more active than I've been, and then we can take the conversation forward. But yeah, you know, I've spent 25 or 30 years in the industry in the limelight, so I'm you know, kind of just taking a bit of a break, receding a little bit, enjoying my own time and my own space. So yeah, I think for me it's happened the other way around, because I've been in the scene so long, and social media, it's cool, it's nice to see what my friends are doing, but I don't spend too much time on there because I think there's so much more to do in the real world.
Facts. But it's been an absolute pleasure, Kamo. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been Gameplay. Thank you so much for joining us. And once again, join us next week where it is going to be episode 10, our special episode where we celebrate, and you know how we celebrate on Gameplay. But I have been Skara. This has been Gameplay, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. GG's, gamers.